Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be trying to get the fixture finished for the rear subframe because we need to get this stuff done. So in the previous video I got all of this lined up and it is perfect. It's exactly where I wanted. I used the laser to verify center, so I went off the centers of both of those holes, and then I went off of these centers, and then I also went off the suspension lower control arm centers, and then the center of this subframe is right here. But I also did some math. I used some tape on this bar down here where the lasers were laying out and made sure everything lined up, and then it did correlate with the mark that I put down here with tape to the center of this mark right here. So we have center, everything suspension pickup wise is centered. Obviously the diffs are always offset to a little bit from center, but I'm very happy with where the Trackhawk subframe is sitting in the Charger fixture. So what I ended up doing yesterday, I didn't really film much of it, or I didn't film any of it. I went back to the machine shop and made these little round inserts. So I was doing these square bar ones, but I really didn't like how it pulled out because it's just so large. It's very hard to pull the subframe off of it. These are nice. I think it's 3/4 inch steel tube, and I just made the holes close fit so they don't have any slop. I did all 4 lower control arms. I also did all of these down here, as well as the other 6 or the other 8 suspension pickup points. So all the suspension pickup points are going to have these in it. So I have these ones that are going to be in here, and it'll just be a lot easier to get everything apart. Once I start doing the upper part of the fixture, it's going to get a little crowded. So I want to get everything down here finished first, and we'll have some tube come up. There'll be some flanges. Like I said, I'm going to probably end up using these as flanges down here. I'll probably go closer to the base, but then I could start the upper part of the fixture, and then I could start, before I do that, I'll redo this one with these instead of these square things because it's really hard to get the subframe off when these are in there. So let's get to work. I'm going to pretty much try to get this whole fixture finished, and once it's finished, I want to get the, actually I don't know if I'm going to pull the subframe off on this one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally just use a plasma cutter and cut all of these suspension. So I'm going to leave this center bar in there. I'm going to leave this center bar in here, as well as these pickup points, and I'll probably cut these off with a plasma cutter to leave those, but I'm going to get rid of these big horns that go through and this whole thing because it's a little bit further out than the Charger mounting. Then what I need to do is I need to put the Charger subframe back in here to get that point right here. That's right here. I finally ran out of gas for the MIG welder, so I'm going to go fill this up. Got back from filling the bottle, so it's nice to have a brand new bottle of gas. So now what we're going to do is finish this up because now I don't have to worry about running out of gas. I wasn't 100% out of gas, but it was getting to the point where every once in a while it didn't have gas. So I didn't want to have to run it that low. But yeah, let's get this thing all nice and full, and it's pretty heavy. It's surprising how much gas weighs. But yeah, let's get back to work. got the rear fixture all finalized. Just need to get this last bar located for the lower control arms on the rear subframe, and otherwise I left the pickup points for the Charger rear subframe, and then these ones are for the Trackhawk. And then I have the exhaust hanger location. I'm probably also going to pick up the diff mounting points and the sway bar mounting point. Front subframe is pretty close, have everything kind of where I want it. You know, these are solid mounts here and here. The steering rack clears, the steering shaft clears. The engine mounts are the ones that I machined at the college, so they are polyurethane now instead of being the huge rubber ones, and this kind of just sweeps in, which will make it really nice. There's a lot more room. When I end up turboing it, I can run piping pretty much through here. There isn't going to be anything once all this stuff is gone. What I want to do tomorrow is put the lower control arms on, leave the struts out, put the upper control arms, put the knuckles and the wheels on, lower it down just to kind of get a feel for if the wheel is going to be perfectly centered in the wheel arch, and then to make sure that the lower control arms are actually going to be relatively flat. They don't have to be 100% flat, but the flatter they are, the better, because as the suspension travels, but since I'm going to have coilovers on it anyway, it isn't going to travel too much. But I don't want the lower control arms to be at like any huge angle, because then you have issues with axles, because if there's lower control arm angle, there'll be an axle angle, and especially on high horsepower cars, if there's any axle angle, it'll just tear through axles, and pretty much you'll just be replacing axles all the time. It's just a nightmare. So what we're going to do now is drop this. Garrett is going to take this home, and he made some plates, but they didn't fit the first time, so he's going to redo them, and that's to locate the lower control arm in the back. So if it doesn't actually sit centered in the wheel arch, probably gonna get rid of this lower control arm design, because I'd rather have heim joints and then have a lower control arm setup. Plus, if that ends up happening, probably will have to raise the lower control arms, and I don't want to have to mess with that system where it has that weird mount on the back. It'll just be a lot easier to have two heims right here, be able to adjust them in and out, and then there'll be a full lower control arm. And I'll probably end up doing the same thing on the back, since I did go rear true coils instead of the coil or the strut and the spring. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure you click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.